So hello and welcome back to Scriptcase by Jamie, and of course it's Jamie here showing you how to integrate Maileroo as a transactional email service into your Scriptcase project. Now this is part 3, and if you haven't seen the other parts, then maybe you want to check those out. Do check those out, and of course let's dive in. If you had watched the previous video or the one before that, then you'll know that we have been adding Maileroo here into our applications. So we have here our form applications, and we have added in here 2 events. Okay, so first of all, we have our Ajax event that we have added. Okay, we haven't added any normal events yet, as well as here our form. Okay, and again, our Ajax event. So I'm opening the events up because yes, we're going to be adding a few events there. But first, we need to return back to our transactional email test. Okay, because from this is then essentially how you would start to create up your library. So let's have a look at that, shall we? So if I close that window, because then it saves me putting that to hide the API key there every single time. And what we're going to do then is come here to Tools and Internal Libraries. And while we're here in Internal Libraries, we then choose our project, because that's where we have here the Maileroo Validate library that we created previously. And if I come here again and go New, I'm going to go Maileroo Admin Notice. Okay, and I'm going to save that. I copied that as well. Should I maybe say that? I'm going to go New again, and this time I'm going to go not admin, but I'm going to go user notice. So that basically we can have a library for user notifications and a library for admin notifications. It will be a little easier to manage the library, as well as then to include it into the applications as and when we need it. Okay, so for our user, I have here first of all my user, so I'm going to paste the entire code here, and we're just going to go through it, of course. So what are we doing here? We have first of all our function, and with that we have called it portal notices, and we have here an email event, so we specify an event for which that notice should be sent. We have then the email to, and then we have here an optional message, hence the equal null, because it's optional. And we say here, if it is available, then that will become that. And of course, we insert that then within our email. So below that, we set up our email here. Okay, we have there the from address. We have there the portal login. We have the logo path that will be included within these emails. We have then also below that some references which have been received, and I've just been transferring those to new variables so that they are used within the application. We then have a switch. So if you remember in the previous video, I was saying we had a switch there, and it was in fact an if else. This time we are using a switch because there are many more options. So we have here an option, or case should I say, for login success. And then we have an email subject with then the company name, welcome back. Okay, so what is the company name? Well, that is up here, my company. So whatever your company is going to be called, you can change that here, and it will just fill in those email fields, which is awesome, right? You have then also the email body, the logo is placed in here, and you have then your success message. And you saw that in the previous video, but just in case you want to see that again. So there we have one of those, and that is then the login that failed, and you have then a link here for the dashboard. The logo, of course, will have to be placed online, which right now it's not. So with that, we then receive a nice email. We can of course customize it further here with HTML. You see there's HTML code in here for each of these emails. We have a login failure event, a new user event, a registration event, a new password event, an act code event, edit account, account deletion, password expiration, account suspension, and of course a default. And you can simply add your own here just by copying one of these, okay, and just enter after here, go back one and place it in there, and it will be nice and tidy. And then all you need to do is just change the name of the case, and then you can adjust the variables, the colors, the text colors, the background color, the line color that's in there, and the icon, and more. Okay, so really depending on the event that is displayed will depend on the data that is displayed. Okay, so with that, if I scroll down some more here, we perform our connection, we send the email with our subject from our address. We have the API key in here. Now, I would highly suggest that you change that because it will not be there when I actually post this for you. But of course, you will want to add this into your database. Okay, don't leave it there. That's not very clever. Okay, so then we have here our SC log. Again, we are logging every time we send an email. We have then our email message, and then we also log when there is an error. Okay, and with that, of course, well, everything is set up and ready to go. So if I'll click save, with that, we have then our user notice. And I can just copy this, and I can use that then throughout my application. So that, again, that is how I would then call it. So I'll call portal notices, add then the event type in there, the email to, and then just choosing here the events that we want to use. Okay, I have here the Maileroo admin notice. And that one also, again, I prepared everything because, yes, I spent a little time doing this for you guys so that it's all set up and ready to go. So in this one, we do not need to have the to address because, of course, in Scriptcase, we have our admins, right? So, you know, with that, this will select those admins within that event for you and then send it to all of the admin accounts, well, those with priv admin. Okay, so that is important there. Of course, not all administrators, just those with the tag. Okay, and with that, again, we have then the setup here, the company, the email details, and so forth, the URL where you want them to check in the dashboard or log in. And of course, with that, you have then the events at the bottom here, login success, new user, registration, new password, edit account. Again, these are customized for the administrator, where the others over here are customized for the user. Okay, so there is a difference between the two, and yes, most of the email formulations are all done as well. So, okay, so with that, we can then come here into our form clients, and again, we can come here to internal libraries within programming. Here we can then again enable here the admin notice. Say, for instance, I'm only given admin access to these pages, or a specific group of users, and I don't need to notify users because most of those options were for, of course, the security. So I will save that, and now I've added admin notifications here, and just to remind us here of what that was portal notices for the user, and for the admin it was admin notices. So here we just need to define the event really, and if we want to include a message we can do. So in these cases we have the on after event for insert, okay, and then we also have the on after update where we may also want to apply this. And of course here again, all we need to do is then define our types. So if I just grab this one, I can then go here, and this will then equal, let's just call it login success, because it doesn't really matter, does it? Right now, there is nothing here for adding a new client, or in fact, why don't we just, hell, we'll just add one. Okay, so here, client added. Keep it simple, or client updated. Okay, so I will add one here also for client updated. Okay, and then all I need to do is define this here within my client's application. Okay, and that will then trigger the client added event, or in this case, it should be updated, right? Okay, so just like that, we then have that ready, and we come here to on after insert, and here that is then added. And just like that, then we have basically 2 messages ready. Now we have here the message that we can apply if we want to. Now by default it is null, so we want to actually get rid of that and maybe add in here some information about the event or the client that has just been added. So here, for instance, new client added, and or new client name. Yeah, let's go along that way. New client name, and then here, yeah, we actually want that, and then here we want then our field, and then we can add then in here the client name in there, and then just like that we have added an extra message in here, and we will update that then also over here for our after update, and just like that we have then made those adjustments. So if I now save that and run, let me save the internal library because we made some adjustments there, and we had added the client added, client updated, and we want to make sure that they trigger when we actually post this. Okay, so now if I run, which I am doing here already, we are also in debug mode, which is awesome. So now if I come here and if I say David Smith Jones, okay, I will save. Right, so now we have our update, our select email, your action's been processed. See, everything here is output for you as well. You can see I spent a little time on this, and there is also already the email notification. So let me grab that very quickly, and there is then the new notification that I've just received. And of course, with that, then I can go to the dashboard. Now, of course, with that, you may want to, of course, come here into the internal libraries and make all sorts of adjustments here to these options. Okay, so this right now just sent a general notice, and really it should have been client account suspension or account, well, they're both account suspension. Right, so let's make sure that we have this working correctly. Okay, so there we go. Now let me add that also here on the after insert, because that is then just selecting any and is not the correct one. So we want to make sure those are there and that it works correctly. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and David Smith Jones and David Smith. Let's return that, save, and okay. Sorry, but your account has been suspended. There you go. So that is the message I should have been receiving now. And that is now also the admin notification. And that is now also the admin notification that I have received. So we can then just come in here to the internal libraries, make adjustments here, admin, new client added, and then here you can then just customize that admin client updated. Okay, and it's really simple as that. And of course, just type out your new body that you want for those specific emails. Okay, so with that, we can then of course just go ahead and apply this pretty much in any other application. So I just closed there the form companies, and we can actually go ahead and add it in there. So I come here to the events, and then on after insert, and that is added, okay, and then on after update, and here we have then updated, and of course you may want to change here the message, and then here in programming again, enable that internal library, okay, yes, save that, okay, and I can run that again just to make sure it's working okay. And this time we have no debug in the application. Yeah, there we go. And if I say sample company name, sample again, save that, data modified. And here, of course, am I getting a new admin notification? There we go. There's the sound. And there is then the new account email. Okay, of course you need to make those adjustments so that the email is in the format that you want. Most of the types, should I say, that are available, well, those are already pre-done, so you don't have to really worry about those. You just add your variables, add your URL, and off you go. Okay, so with that, let's then go ahead and, well, add our security. right? Because that's the next thing we really want to do now, is actually add the Scriptcase security. And there's our usual pop-up window. I'm going to get rid of that and create our security module. I will use group. And of course, I do already have tables that I'm using, so I am going to create new tables. Okay. Right. So with that, I go next, and I need to delete those tables first. I go next. It's going to create new tables for the security. And of course, with that, then we have our menu. So I'll create a menu here. We have our log application. I'll select that. And then we can then go ahead, and it says we already have those. So let's choose then maybe sec. And we'll go then to login, change the username and email. Use a template also for our screen. And then here I already have one prepared. And email settings, again, we just want any data in here. smtp.sample.com. Okay, 465 sample@sample.com. And I'm just going to place these in here. Server connection, password, sender name, do that again, and that's it. So we have then our users. Everything's good there. I'll leave that as default. So you're going to choose what you want to do. The two-factor authentication, add it. Always add it. If you can add it, add it. Absolutely. That's awesome. And then we have our admin and typical admin username, password, our add applications. I will include all of them. And then, of course, go ahead and generate the security. So it says, please inform the sending mail API to continue. So refresh that. And let's add that SMTP on there. Okay, so users, authentication, security, we're good. Let's just generate the security. I don't want to save this profile, and off we go. Okay, so with that, our security is generated. We can then go ahead and open our project. Now we don't really need to generate the applications yet again, because we're going to be adding all of our alerts here. So we have our add users, edit users. We have here the login. We have here the sync applications, your retrieve password. So you may want to add it to all of those, maybe even your application, whatever you like. So I'm just going to edit all of these, or some of these, and of course add our new notifications into these, because like you know, the login has its own notification system already, and it's going to use that API that I just added. Okay, so here on our sync applications, I like to add an event here because, of course, somebody syncs applications. I want to know those have synchronized. So I'll come here to the internal libraries, enable the admin notifications. Okay, and save that. And then I'll come here on validate. And here we then load our application, and then we have our on validate success. And then I think here is probably a good place for us to add our notifications to. So what was it called again? Portal admin notices, wasn't it? But let's double check anyway. So admin notice, there we go. Okay, so with that, we then have our admin notification here. I don't think we need the message in this one. We just need the event, and that, of course, I don't know if we have an event for actually. Login success, new user, registration, new password, edit, account, suspension, a client. Okay, so we want to add an event here for the app sync. App sync, let's call it that. And that will then, of course, send us a notification whenever we sync our applications. Okay, so just like that, if I then run that, in fact, I need to adjust those, don't I? Let's make sure, again, we have the correct there. Right, so run. And with that, when we now synchronize our applications, thank you, your action has been processed successfully. And because I'm echoing it, and because this is a control application, and in the control application is not the same as the form. So in that one, it echoes quite beautifully, and at the same time, we need to think in the form. You're covering it up. That's really what's happening there. Okay, so let's leave that there then. We have then here our app synchronization. And if I then go ahead and save that, we then have admin notifications for that. So we then have our retrieve password. So here we have our onValidate event, and this actually goes and sends the email, right? So we have down here in programming, PHP methods, send mail message and send new password, or send new password and send password mail. There you go. For those, all use send mail message. So they all go through this, okay? So we can use this one and replace it with our, well, our library here, isn't it? So our very simple ta-da-da-da, curl mail sending application. It's that easy. Okay, so with this, let's go ahead and steal the variables that we need from here. So we have here the parameter message. Okay, so that is here the HTML, and that is then the message that is then going to be sent. So that would then be here our body. Okay, and then we have here the user email, which is the to, and we can replace that here then also. And then we also have here the lang subject, which we also have here as the email subject. Okay, so just like that, we have then pretty much replaced this. Okay, and with that, well, you see these global variables, well, they can also be removed. You can think about removing them. Maybe it's a good idea. Okay, but in this case, I'm not going to. I am just going to go ahead and, well, comment this piece of code out. So just like that now, we have our code ready, and it will retrieve and send emails using the same format that is pretty much already there and ready to go. Okay, so that is then the retrieve password. For our sec login, we need to come here to events. Don't forget in sec password to enable that internal library. Yeah, in Maileroo admin, there we go. And Maileroo user notice, because I have a funny feeling you will in fact want to add the admin into this one and use for this actually in fact the Maileroo user notice, or in fact, yeah, skip that bit, that was rubbish. Okay, so back in within our sec login, we have our events here, and we again have those available down here in PHP methods. And here we have here our SC validate success. Okay, so within this, we then redirect our user here to the sec menu, or the menu, or wherever you're going to send them after they validated. You enable all the applications, you run through all the security that's in here, and blah, blah, blah. Now, with that, you can, of course, go ahead and add notifications in here, okay? Because right now, it's not doing any notifications. It's not sending admin nothing. It's not telling admin there are issues. Somebody's trying to log in 5, 10, 20 times, and, you know, they maybe need a personal email or some help, you know. So with that, you can add your admin notifications in here. So we would just come here to internal libraries, add those notifications to the admin notice, maybe even the user notification, because remember, here in internal libraries, user notifications, saving along the way, we have here login success. Okay, so we can, for user, not for admin, so for user we have login success as well. So we can send the user an email to say welcome back. You know, it's good, and that way, you know they logged in. If it wasn't them, well, they're going to let you know. I think, I hope, I would think so, I would hope so. And if not, well, yeah, maybe, you know, you want to add some logging there as well, which is why I've added logging into this library, so that everything, you're not going to miss a beat. Okay, so with those enabled, we can then come here to say the SC on validate success and add that in here, because we could add it here after the macro, but here on SC validate success, using this method, should I say, not the macro, then we are redirecting the user to the menu, and it's not going to notify anybody. So what you want to do then maybe is then, if I take here the portal notices and I come here to sec login, I'm going to actually email the user before I redirect him. I think it's good. Maybe even after. You know, you can do it when I hit the menu, you know, whenever you like, really, can't you? So here we have here a login success. And the email to, well, that would then be here, our field. And ideally, in my preference, that is always going to be the login field because that's essentially going to be their email. But in some cases, or many cases, it's not going to be that. You will want to set this as the global variable because that's really what you're going to be getting, and it'll be user email, and that way it'll be their email address that is then receiving that message. Okay, so just like that, we have added in here a user notification. Sometimes I just type too fast, of login. Okay, and just like that, I did it anyway. Okay, and with that, well, we're good to go, right? So the user is going to be informed. Now, maybe you will want to add the admin notification. So let's go ahead and add that one here also. Sec login, and well, maybe you want to add that for something else, or maybe you want to add it for the login. That's up to you. The options are there. You go ahead. I'm actually going to add it here on the onValidate failure. No, I'm not. Okay, it makes no sense that I add it there, does it really? We have onValidate, and here you're going to be checked. If they're not available, then we have that check here. So we have here sclog login fail. We're adding a message here. Now, I think this here is actually an error. I keep seeing that, and I think that is actually an error. So if you see that, then maybe you want to remove that as well, because maybe it's stopping your security from working right now, or failing even. Yeah, failing, because it's going to trigger when it fails, right? So anyway, here it is. If I add it now here, the notification, and in here, I'm just going to say login failure. And of course, I need to make sure it is available here within my libraries. Okay, so here I have login success, and there is no login failure. Okay, so maybe you will want to add that in there, or of course, I need to add that now. So login failure. Okay, so here we are. We have now the libraries ready. We've added the notifications to our login. Of course, here I just sneakily added the entire curl in there, and maybe, yeah, you want to change that. Don't leave it like that. I'm cheating. Okay, the libraries are there. Use the library, create a new library. That's for you to do. Create a new library, and of course then add a separate instance in there just for sending very specific emails. Okay, so for the sec form users, again here, it's the same story again. You want to capture when they inserted, when they didn't, when they registered essentially. So edit users, the user's updating their profile. Send the user an email, add the library into this application, programming, internal libraries. Let's notify the user of their updates on after insert, and then here we have within the internal library for user notifications, because I'm sure there is one in here, new user, new password, act code, edit account. There we go, look at that. So I will just come back here to edit users, and in here, okay, so then we add our portal notices, and then in here the edit account, and just like that we then enable the notifications to the user whenever they update their account. It's good to know. Again, for them, no, I think it's good. I think it's good. You decide yourself. Of course, now it is available to you, I think. So I don't know, maybe it's available to you already, because I really do not know right now of the timeline of the new members platform. I was hoping to have everything ready by the end of this month, but I think it's going to be next month. So either way, I'll try and make it available to you anyway within the typical platform where you will know where it is. And if you have problems with that, of course, just let me know. I'm available to you. You're members. Let me know. Send me an email. And even if you're not a member, send me an email. I'll help you out. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and save our internal libraries, close everything up, because, you know, we've added notifications to everything already, and we're pretty much ready to go. So with that, we can just go ahead and generate our applications, all of them, because we created this security and we did not generate any of them. So if you would run the login page now, you wouldn't really get anywhere because it's going to go to something that doesn't exist. And of course, you want to see the new menu and the new themes and everything, right? Because it's a world of difference, Scriptcase today, if you haven't seen it. And now with Maileroo, well, I know straight away if I'm going to log in, I'm going to know if I'm going to edit my account. You know, come here to my account, I can edit my account here. And of course, I'm going to receive a notification. So admin, I'll say position, I'll just say admin again. I'll save that. Oh, well, I should be getting a notification. Okay, and with that, it of course makes a big difference to you when you are working in your platform, having notifications, having those sent to you, and of course, receiving them within your inbox. And that's where Maileroo and their transactional mailing service will help you a great deal just by simple implementation within your project. Just copy the scripts. I might just stick the scripts in the description. How about that? I just don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Okay, and with that, well, I think we're it with Maileroo today. And don't forget, of course, there is the 3 months for free with the Jamie free for free code and the URL. Don't forget to use the URL as well. And with that, well, I think that is all. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you get to use these libraries I've created for you within your own projects. And of course, use Maileroo. It's awesome and so simple to apply.